Hi everybody. I'm going to be talking to you about self-image because I think that it's one of the most important lessons that we can teach our youth, and also it was one of the things that somebody posted about what they wanted to learn more about in dealing with the youth. And so I think it's important because I think that self-image is one of the greatest determining factors of our success. And kind of what I mean by that is, and what I would explain to the youth is that it's kind of the same as the law of the lid. So if your self-image is a 3, okay, then your success can only be a 2. Okay, and vice versa. If your self-image is a 9, then you can have success of an 8. And so just really kind of reiterate that to them. It's the same as the law of the lid of leadership. And so the lesson there is that your self-image is the lid to your success, because you can't go past that. And so you need to find ways to lift the lid and build your confidence so that you have that higher self-image of yourself. And so it is the greatest kind of separator between successful and unsuccessful people throughout any stage of life, is how they perceive themselves. That is the greatest separator between who's successful and who's not successful. And that's how they perceive themselves, and self-talk and things like that. And so there's a lot of things that determine a person's future. It could be, I need to put this down, their background, it could be their education, it could be relationships, experiences, choices, things like that. But you should let the youth know those are all very important. However, small in comparison to their self-image, and that's something you really want them to focus on, and something that is very low in a lot of the teens and younger kiddos these days. And so when you think of the word esteem, I think it's interesting because when you esteem someone or something, you respect it or hold it at higher regard. That's the definition of esteem. So by definition, when a person has good self-esteem, they respect themselves, and when they lack self-esteem, then likewise it reflects the lack of respect for themselves. So then, to help the youth understand that a healthy self-image will result in positive thoughts and opinions about themselves, that positive self-talk. And a poor self-image, when they hold a lot of negative thoughts and opinions about themselves, will, do that same thing reversely. In my class, we do an activity when we're talking about self-image and self-concept. And this is something you could do with the youth. And I just have them, I don't tell them what we're doing, but I just have them draw a self-portrait of themselves just on, printer paper. And I tell them to try to make it as close to them as possible. So if you have brown hair, use color brown. If you have blue eyes, color blue eyes. Anyways, and so then the activity, we get a partner, and I say, okay, so we're working on some feedback, just honest feedback. So I want you to hold your paper up, and then your partner's going to give you the feedback. Make sure you include good things, positive things, and negative things in that feedback. And then they would do the same for the other person. And actually, I extend this to talk about gossiping and other things, but for time-wise, so we do that. And then what I have them do is they all sit down, and I say, for every negative thing that somebody said to you, either while you were drawing your paper or when you were doing the critique, I want you to fold your paper in half. And so they do that, and we hold them all up, and we kind of look around the room, and some people have, 4 folds, some people have more, depending on how harsh their partner was. And you'll see whenever they're drawing, pay close attention to the things they're saying, because you'll hear them say, like, oh my gosh, I'm a horrible drawer, or I can't do this, or oh my gosh, my eyes are too far apart, or, things like that. So then what I say, and we've all looked around the room, and so then I say, okay, now for every negative thing you thought or said about yourself during this activity when you were drawing, or just the whole time from the time we started, then now I want you to make a fold. And you look around the room, and everybody is, making even more folds. And some people who maybe didn't even have a fold because somebody didn't tell them negative, now have a fold or two or more, because we're harder on ourselves than other people are on us, and we perceive ourselves lower than other people see us. And so it's a really great activity. And then we just talk about, we use the quote, children are like wet cement, whatever falls on them makes an impression. And so what I have them do, I said, okay, for every positive thing that was said about you or you said yourself, you can unfold it that many times. And then we'll look around the room, and many of them haven't got the paper unfolded all the way. And so, that just shows us that all the negative things we either say to ourselves or hear from other people outweigh the number of positive things. And we, for sure, one of the problems for us is that we hear the negative over the positive. There might have been more positive things, but those negative things stick with us more than the positive things. And so that's a great activity. And then what I have them do is, all right, try to get that paper back how it was. And we, they're trying to fold it and get it. And then they start having that aha moment of the metaphor that I'm trying to do, is that once that's said to that person, it's hard, it leaves a mark, it scars them. So one, to be kind to what you say to other people, but also the biggest thing is to yourself, because that's where most people made their folds. And so I just think that's a great activity and something that you could do. Also, psychologists tell us that if you were to have somebody write down their weaknesses and their positives, they might write down 5 weaknesses and only 1 or 2 strengths. Also, when we were playing the leadership game for teens, one of the questions was to write down 3 strengths. And it was amazing as you went around the room how many could give you 1. Okay, but then they would struggle. They literally would struggle to come up with 3 strengths and say that to the group. And so this self-esteem, again, issue is, or self-image topic is very important. And so I would like to just give you some self-image statements to teach the kids. There are 4 of them. I'm going to give you 2 here. And number 1 is, you may succeed if nobody else believes in you, but you won't succeed if you don't believe in yourself. And so in other words, what people say, think, believe, or think, say, believe about you won't matter, but the day that you buy into what they think, say, or believe, then it's all over. And so, all of us, we focus on so much what other people think about us or believe or say about us. But I always try to tell my students, who is in control of your thoughts and your beliefs? And they're like, you are. Okay. So you choose what you believe about yourself. And so that's then a very important statement. You may succeed if nobody else believes in you, but you won't succeed if you don't believe in yourself. So that self-talk is very important. And I'm actually going to post this video of Jessica. She's got the self-talk down, and she's talking to herself in the mirror or whatever else. So check that out. And we all should do that and have that self-talk. I'll post that later. Also, John Maxwell's mentor, John Wood, has this self-talk statement, and that's the most important conversation you should have with yourself, the most important conversation you'll have is the conversation with yourself. And so he says, don't be concerned with what others think, say, believe about you, but be concerned with what you think, say, believe about yourself. So kind of the same thing that I was saying. Also, what is the limiting factor? It's not what the limiting factor on us isn't what they think, say, or believe, and that's what we focus on, but it's on, again, what you think, say, or believe about yourself. So that positive self-thought is talk is very, very important. All right, second statement that I want to share with you about self-image is that you could share with the teens is, how you see yourself determines how you see others. And so it's impossible with a low self-image for you to see others in a sustained and positive way. And so if you see yourself as a 6, even more likely, if you see yourself as a 3, you will see others as a 2. And so the lower that you go on the self-image scale, the more reason that you have to see others even lower than yourself. And this might be, where bullying comes in. because you have that low self-image of yourself, and so you put that onto other people because you can't see the good in them. And so conversely, if you see yourself as a 9, meaning you have a good self-image, then you can see others around you and you're comfortable with people around you that are a 9. Okay, and so that comfort level of self-image, you can go up and down, or you can go down in that, but you can't really go up. So because if you're not comfortable, if you're like a 3, you're not comfortable around people that have a high self-image of a 10 or something, because then that makes your self-image kind of go down. Okay, but if you have a high self-esteem, then you are comfortable with people with high self-esteem, and then that helps your confidence. So self-talk is very important in how you see yourself. There's 2 other ones, and if you guys are interested in that, then private message me. It's one of the lessons that we do as a John Maxwell team member, and this is just one of a 2-part series on self-esteem. And then if I were doing this with students, we would add activities and things like that. But I wanted to share those with you. We have 4 other youth kind of lessons that we do. So if you want to, some of them are on bullying, failing forward, and things like that. If you guys are interested or know anybody that would be interested in lessons like that, then please private message me. So I wanted to give you guys a couple of self-image exercises. And again, we have 7 of these. I'm going to give you 4. Number 1, what do you like about your life? And this is an activity you can do with the students and have them, write that down. And number 2 would be for them to think about what people make them feel special in their life. And so this could be a discussion and explore, that what these people have that are appealing to them. Why do they make them feel special? And then you would encourage the teens to spend time with those people, because that's going to build them up. A 3rd exercise can be, what can you do today? What can you do today that is something that will be positive in somebody's life? And so you teach the group to take an intentional action and connect that positive behavior with self-image. Number 4, an exercise you could do is, what positive qualities do you want in your life? And have the group kind of write these down and ask if they have them. And so write down, first you just have them think of what are the positive qualities that you want in your life, and say, do you have those? And if they do, great. If they don't, then you say, okay, well, how can you acquire these? There's a few more of those, actually, and again, if you want to private message me to get those, then please do that. And this is the same for us. I'm talking to the youth, but this is the same for us. We have that same success lid on ourselves. If we don't have the self-image of a higher self-image, then we're putting that lid on our success. And so we need to have good positive self-talk with ourselves as well. I'm so sorry.